talent without a direction is nothing at all. Now, he has since walked back part of that on a conference call in which he said, I don't feel like the direction is lost. I feel like sometimes the focus is lost. Everybody on this team, everybody in this fan base need to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, are they really here for the Cowboys, or are they really here just to place blame on each other?
Whew.
Okay, so I'm not sure if that makes it better or not. We've got Tannenbaum with us today, and look, there he is. Jeff Saturday is with us from Bristol as well. And Jeff, we'll give you the first word. As we just sort of sit here and look at all of this fallout surrounding the Cowboys, and when you hear a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence, who is the highest paid player in the history of the franchise, making comments like that, what goes through your mind?
I mean, he sees it for what it is, right? You have an uber talented football team that underperformed, and he understands that talent in the NFL, everybody's got talent. But when you underperform the way they have this season, especially when you cap it off with last week's loss, going into Philly with a banged up Philly team that you got to win this division. This team has underperformed for quite a while, but this year in particular, it's just an embarrassing way to go out. And as a pro, you're sitting in that locker room and you get asked these same questions day after day, and it does wear on you. And so ultimately you end up saying, you don't necessarily give the company line, and it hurts people's feelings. But that's the truth. That talent in the NFL doesn't win. Teamwork, all the different things that we talk about, being able to build a culture, all those things show up on Sundays and Mondays. It doesn't just happen. Those things have to be created, and right now the Cowboys don't exhibit it.
Yeah, Mr. T, when you think about the fact that it was DeMarcus Lawrence who said these things, what comes to mind?
Yeah, it's really disappointing. There's a time and place for those comments, and it's not publicly. Highest paid player, Greeny, like you said, only 5 sacks. It really starts with players like him. They need to play better. And a couple days ago, Dan Orlovsky on the show made a great point. Zach Ertz, he's playing with broken ribs, doing everything he can. The Dallas Cowboys' best players, they're tapping out. That tells you everything you need to know. But we need people like Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, some other people to step up, maybe even Jason Witten, inside, have a players-only meeting and say, hey, what we're doing right now is not acceptable. But for DeMarcus Lawrence to say that publicly, he's just creating more problems. He's solving nothing.
I get it. It feels like the time for the players-only meetings, however, was after the loss 5 weeks ago and 4 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. And here we are where it's probably too late. Jeff, just quickly, I would like to get your take on that as one who played all those years on that offensive line. When you see Amari Cooper not on the field for the biggest play of your season, when you see Ezekiel Elliott taking himself out of the game, and now there's a 3rd and 1 and they're running the ball with somebody else, just what thoughts did you have about all of that?
Yeah, first of all, when a player says that, when Amari Cooper said, well, I ran a fly, I ran a go route and they took me out. I play with Marvin Harrison, who's in the Hall of Fame, Reggie Wayne, a number of other really good receivers. You ain't taking them off the field. I don't care what anybody says, right? I mean, I'm staying on the field because I know the situation and where we're sitting. Whether I'm tired, if I'm the guy, I'm looking in the huddle going, hey, man, I'm going to get open. That's the type of player that wins football games when it matters most. It's not the guy, man, I'm really, and so, the coach said I had all those things. I don't even understand that conversation. The Ezekiel Elliott part, the earlier in the game when he came out, that's not the same situation. So you have rotations in the NFL. All those things happen on a 4th down when you're talking about, hey, this is where the whole season lies. A guy saying that the coaching staff took me out. And again, go back to Tannenbaum's first point. If you're one of the highest paid players on the team, they've done this. They've committed to you the way they have to bring you over. Again, those are the moments, right? That's why you play the game. That's the part that kind of baffles you, is that you're sitting here and guys are saying things. I can tell you right now, right? I'm a lineman. I get it. We have a different. You ain't taking me off unless I'm carted off in a situation like that. Like there is a mentality that the best play with. They're not going to have it. They're not going to stand for it. It doesn't matter what the situation. If I had to call my own timeout at that moment, I'd be like, hey, call timeout. We're getting 30 seconds. We're going to go out because this matters. This is how our season is boiling down to this moment, and we got to go make a play. I'm going to be that guy. That's the part. Like none of this makes sense to me, right? We're blaming everybody, but at the top of the order with Jerry and Jason Garrett, the situation, the game plan. This is all kind of together. I can't imagine that was your practice plan for a week, to go out and throw it 44 times with a guy who didn't practice. None of it fits together. And when you hear players like this, and to Lawrence's point, and all, It's confusing, and they are an uber talented football team again that underperforms. And why? Because it's that mentality. Like, something about that locker room doesn't create and doesn't stir. I'm going to leave it all out here right now for this moment because this is what matters.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.